All right, this is the one you guys been waiting for. Snowballs. We're making some snowballs today. I'm going to show you how I make them. I know everybody loves them because everybody steals them from everybody's Christmas gifts. And there's so many stories we've had of people putting two of these cookies in their mouth at the same time just so nobody else would take them. But here it is. Here's the recipe. It's very simple. It really hasn't changed over the years since I was a kid. There's a lot of recipes that I have changed to kind of adapt it, but this one is perfect. So, very simple. It's a buttery cookie with some walnuts covered in powdered sugar. Sometimes called Mexican wedding cakes, Russian tea cakes, but we call them snowballs. Mainly because we used to make them a lot during Christmas and everybody loved them. Everybody would steal from each other. We would give, a plate of cookies, and the snowballs were always the first ones to go. So, first thing we're going to start off with is a half a cup of sugar, just white sugar, a cube and a half or 3/4 cups of butter, and 1 egg. So I'm just going to mix this up real quick and get the butter and sugar and eggs all blended together so it's nice and fluffy. Then we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, before I add in the vanilla, this is the type of consistency we're looking for. Kind of break up the butter here so it's nice and smooth and creamy. Smooth and creamy, that's what I'm talking about. Now I'm adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And stir that in well. Now you see little clumps of butter still in there, but that's all right. We can work with it. This is a half a teaspoon of salt. Blend that well. And then we're going to add in 2 cups of flour. Okay, so now that I've got the salt and the vanilla blended in, I'm going to add in 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. And just slowly blend this into the butter and the sugar and the egg and the vanilla and the salt. And this is not an overly sweet cookie, but we're going to roll it in some powdered sugar so it'll get a little bit of that sweetness, but it just kind of melts in your mouth. Be sure to always add in the flour before you add in the walnuts because you don't want dusty walnuts. All right, now that this it's kind of getting a little thick, we're I'm going to go ahead and use your hands. Make sure you wash your hands before you start this whole process. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is before you start, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees because you don't want to put your cookies into a cold oven. The first batch will not come out correctly. This is thickened up. This dough is kind of thickening up, and we're gonna knead it a little bit. I need you to thicken up. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and knead this a little bit. So you don't want your dough to be sticking to your hands. Then it means you need to add a little bit more flour. You have too much flour, then the cookies will be really dense. So you kind of want it a little sticky, but not too sticky. I don't know if that makes any sense, but this is going to be a trial and error thing for you if this is the first time you're making it. So sticky enough to where it's what's the word? Okay, so you want this sticky enough to where it's not sticking to your hands, but you can still tell it's moist. It's not dry when you kind of move it through your finger. Okay, so this is what it looks like. See, not sticky. Okay, some of that's from before, but hey, how are you? Okay, now that your dough looks like this, you're gonna wanna add some walnuts. This is 1 cup of walnuts, there's 1 cup of walnuts in there. You can add more walnuts, but what'll happen is you won't have enough cookie to walnut ratio. So 1 cup to the dough is perfect. And now that the dough is done, you're not gonna have dusty walnuts. So you're gonna combine that all into the bowl. And you're just gonna keep mixing it around. And it is gonna be time to put them in the oven. You're gonna roll them up into walnut-sized balls. You can make them bigger. They're gonna have to cook a little bit longer. So you want to do a walnut-sized ball of these because after you bake them, they're not gonna be too crunchy and they're not gonna be chewy. So they're gonna be just right in the middle, and they are just gonna put the powdered sugar and the dough. Oh, you're gonna love it. Let me tell you. Okay, so this is what the walnuts. Not sticky, okay? That's what you're looking for. Okay, so I've got my aluminum cookie sheet with some parchment paper, and I'm gonna roll them into a walnut size ball here. And these cookies don't spread, so you can put them kind of close to each other. And the more you do this, the more you want to get all of the cookies the same size. The cookie ball is the same size. Cookie balls? Yeah, the cookie balls, I guess. Cookie rolls, no, the cookie formation, about the same size because you want it to you want them the same size because you want them to bake evenly. If you have small ones and a big one and a little one, if you got little ones and then a big one, and like, oh, I'm gonna have this one's for me, it's gonna be like raw, and the other one's gonna be like burnt. So, just kind of eyeball it. The more you do this, the more you kind of fill it with your hands there. It's in the palm of your hand. You're like, oh yeah, and you just roll it. Just make a little ball. It's gonna have fun. Snowballs. Not snow squares, snowballs. All right. The other thing I want to mention is if you make them too big, since these are going to be covered in powdered sugar, you don't want to bite into it because then the powdered sugar goes everywhere. So you want these like a 1-bite cookie so they can just pop it in their mouth and let the party begin. So, like I said, as you're going through this, you're going to realize, hey, some of these are a little too skinny. They need a little bit more. So you can pull one from another one that's too healthy and, kind of gauge it from there. Just eyeball it, That's all I'm saying. Just want to make sure that this one's a little too much. There we go. This makes approximately 2 dozen cookies, depending on how large your cookies are. But regular size, probably about 2 dozen, maybe a little more, 2.5. Now, sometimes you're gonna get to the end, you're like, okay, that's too much for 1 cookie, and it's too small for 2 cookies. So that's when you look for the unhealthy ones. And by unhealthy, I meant the ones that are a little bit smaller, and you add a couple more walnuts, a couple pieces of dough. Okay, I got these ready to go. Gonna spread them out evenly. Like I said, they don't spread out too much when you bake them. So you can put them somewhat close together and you can fit them all in one large cookie sheet. So I'm gonna bake it for about 15 minutes and we'll be ready to go. And see, there's no dent when I put my finger on it. Woo! And the bottom is nice and brown. So that means they're ready to come out. Okay, I have about 4 cups of powdered sugar in a freezer bag. Make sure you use a freezer bag because if you use a storage bag, it's gonna poke holes in it. So, because of the hot part of the cookie. So you wanna take the cookies, throw them in there. Nice and golden brown. These are hot, so you gotta move quick. Now, the other thing is, you gotta be gentle. You're not gonna shake the powdered sugar on there. You are gonna roll the bag. roll the bag. All right, I'm gonna seal this up. I hope. Yes. Now we roll. You don't want to shake. Just roll it around. Roll it around. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Don't roll fast, don't roll slow. I mean, you can roll slow. Make sure that Ziplock's zipped locked. Okay. Now we got 2 dozen cookies in here. So, all right, here we go. Nice and covered with powdered sugar. Take a look at that. Now, occasionally you're gonna find that some of these get broken up, and it's mainly because the cookie wasn't formed properly, or maybe it didn't cook thoroughly. So typically those are the ones where you had a bigger cookie, or I don't know, maybe got a little too rough with it. I don't know. So we are gonna put these we got one left. All right. Now I want to do is place these all together like so. Then we're gonna dust the top of them with some more powdered sugar. All right, and that's how you make the legendary Snowball Cookies. They are so good. Probably shouldn't eat them right now, but just kind of melt in your mouth. Look at that. You see that? You see it? It's good. You're probably gonna need some milk, or maybe a coffee.